Hi there, my name is Lynn Wharram. I am the current vice chair with Surfrider Vancouver Island, BC. Today I'm just going to do a bit of an overview for what Surfrider Vancouver Island does and some of the programs that we do. So before I begin, I would like to state that Surfrider Foundation Vancouver Island acknowledges with respect the Lekwungen-speaking peoples whose traditional territory we stand on, and the Songhees, Esquimalt, and the Saanich peoples whose historical relationships with the land we continue to this day. The Surfrider Foundation Vancouver Island is a grassroots nonprofit coastal protection organization with a mission that is dedicated to the protection and enjoyment of our oceans, waves, and beaches for all people through a powerful activist network. Surfrider Vancouver Island has been operating in Victoria, BC since 2006. Globally and in the US, it started, I believe, in 1984. So it's been around a very long time, making lots of progresses, lots of victories. We are a completely volunteer-run organization. So we're all community members, passionate activists. We range from ocean recreators, surfers, paddleboarders, cold dip people, to academics, working professionals of all ages. Our vision for our chapter is to protect 100% of the coastline in southern Vancouver Island. So there's also a Pacific Rim chapter and a Vancouver chapter as well. The Pacific Rim looks at just the Pacific Rim, so Tofino, Ucluelet, that area, and we're sort of Duncan downwards. However, we have in the past coordinated with other organizations up island to do beach cleanups and water quality testing. So our chapter is part of a sea change. So the International Surfrider Foundation. So as I said, they were started in Malibu, California in 1984. Started because there was a beach that was basically going to get coastal development, and they wanted to protect it because it was their surf break. Over the last 35 plus years, Surfrider Foundation has built a volunteer network of 84 chapters and 40 different clubs across the United States and Canada. So here in Victoria, we also have the UVic club as well. Our chapter has 5 barrels of focus: plastic pollution, clean water, beach access, coastal preservation, and ocean protection. How we surf these 5 barrels. So the first one is our Rise Above Plastics. The next one, which I'll discuss all of these in more detail. Next one is beach cleanups, Blue Water Task Force, which is water quality testing, and our ocean-friendly businesses. So the Rise Above Plastics has a whole bunch of different things underneath of it. Basically, the idea is to create an education and outreach program designed to eliminate the impacts of plastic in marine environments. And we do that by raising awareness about the dangers of plastic solution and for advocating for solutions that reduce single-use plastics. So some of our current campaigns, we have the solidified oil spill. So over the last 3 years, we've had volunteers do a research project on pre-consumer plastic production pellets. So that's basically nurdles. If you're not familiar with nurdles, you can look it up, NURDLES. And those are basically what they're melted down to create single-use plastics. So we found direct evidence that these plastic pellets are entering marine environments from plastic production facilities in the lower mainland, particularly along multiple arms of the Fraser River. So this started at Willows Beach over by Cattle Point with one of our beach cleanups. A new volunteer came and he was finding all of these, and I explained to him what they were, and then he just took off from there, and he's still doing them. The next thing we do is plastic-free schools. So we have one of our volunteers, Margaret, who goes into the schools and does presentations and gets kids involved and educating them about single-use plastics, as well as gets them, if they have a lunch program, gets them using reusable containers instead. So that's for teachers and students. our Dock the Debris program is fairly new, and it's pretty cool. So this is what you see in the image in the background here is one of our sea bins. So it was launched in November 2020, and the idea was to reduce the single-use plastics and marine debris, micro and macro plastics in the marine environment. So alongside reducing plastic waste through policy change and effective waste management, trash trapping technologies like sea bins, which are like floating garbage cans, and the water sort of goes over it and the plastic goes into it. They help us increase our community clean efforts through working 24 hours a day. These things are constantly going. They inform local source reduction through quantitative data collection. So we look at what we're finding. For instance, we'll be finding lots of bits of styrofoam. And so a lot of that styrofoam is actually coming off docks. And so then we can bring that forward to marinas and say, hey, you guys need to change up your docks, especially the old ones. And then it also provides additional data for changes in policies as well around that. So to date, we've installed 3 of the sea bins at the North Saanich Marina. There's also some sea bins that we didn't install, but they are being done at Oak Bay Marina as well. And those bins that we have at North Saanich Marina collect an average of about 4 pounds of debris every single day. So about 1,500 pounds a year. The Ban the Bag campaign that we have, I'm sure if you've lived in Victoria, you know about it. We worked with a lot of local residents, businesses, and the City of Victoria, as well as other municipalities, to get a single-use plastic bag ban going, which we were successful in. So that's one of the important things, that it seems like a small thing, but all those little bits of bags and all those things, lots of small differences and changes make big differences in the end. So we really recommend you going to, if you're in a municipality that hasn't had a bag ban yet, write to them and say that you're for it, and get it changed. It's a simple task. The other Rise Above Plastics campaigns that we have is the Hold On to Your Butt campaign. So that works to reduce cigarette butt litter in the streets and on the beaches, in City of Victoria, as well as outside of that. We raise awareness in the community about the environmental impact of cigarette butt litter and options for responsible disposal. So we worked with the City of Victoria to install 20 ash cans throughout the city. And the whole purpose of that is a lot of people don't realize that the cigarette butts are actually made of plastic. And so if you just put your butt out on the ground, then what happens is that rain comes along and it washes it into the storm drain, and those storm drains just go straight out into the ocean. So that was a really big change that we had in the City of Victoria, especially in the downtown core, that made a huge difference. In addition to that, those butts are actually sent over to, I believe it's TerraCycle, for recycling. So they are being recycled too, which is also great, instead of just going into the trash. And the last one about Rise Above Plastics is Beyond Plastics. So the Beyond Plastics began as a small research effort in 2018 with the goal to gain a more comprehensive understanding of the issues surrounding compostable and biodegradable plastics, and work with businesses, community, and government agency to discuss solutions. So a lot of these plastic materials are advertised as a solution to our waste management challenges, but they don't actually break down in the way that they say that they do. So we're actually doing a lot of research to show and to find out, if something says it's biodegradable, but then it's also plastic, is it actually biodegradable? And that's where kind of the greenwashing comes in. So one of our other programs is the beach cleanups. So we've had, in the past, we do 12 monthly beach cleanups a year, as well as additional beach cleanups with schools and different businesses. Say your business wants to do a beach cleanup, then we would help set that up. So since its inception, Surfrider Vancouver Island has been holding monthly beach cleanups at different locations around the South Island, and that ranges all the way up to Port Renfrew and over to Sydney. In addition, we also do remote beach cleanups. So that's where we would head out to places that you wouldn't normally get to see. And so you don't see the trash because you can only get to these places by boat. Just some stats for you. 2019, January 2019 to March 2020, just pre-COVID, there were 17 beaches cleaned, and off of those 17 beaches, we collected 7,794 pounds of trash. And that included over 1,100 volunteers. So some of the things that we find on the beaches, the big ones, and why we advocate for change is stuff like cigarette butts, snack packaging, takeout cups, straws, dog poop bags, shotgun shells, and lots of styrofoam. Because of COVID, we haven't been able to do our monthly huge gathering of beach cleanups. So what we have done is solo beach cleanups, and we recommend everybody go out there, grab something, grab some gloves, grab a bucket, and start picking up some trash. And there's a really easy way to monitor and track this, which is really helpful for us because as I've said so far in the presentation, it's really good for us to have an idea of what's out there so that we can get some changes going. So there's a marine debris tracker app that the National Geographic put out, and it's really easy to use. You just download the app, you open it up, hit start tracking, select Surfrider Canada, and then you go click on the turtle icon, create a profile, and then you can use those categories, put in what you've collected, and then just hit add, and that's it. And you can do it for each type of thing that you find. So it's a really easy way to collect data and let everybody know, or let us know, what people are finding. That being said, we are planning to start up our beach cleanups again in July of 2021, assuming that restrictions are lifted, so watch out for that. Our Blue Water Task Force is a citizen science water testing program that provides critical water quality information to raise awareness of local pollution problems and protect public health. So there we have 20 sites across southern Vancouver Island that are sampled on a periodic basis, but we have about 10 core sites that we sample every 2 weeks. So it's about 400 volunteer hours a year. A lot of the water quality is not, after rainfalls, is not the best. And so comparably to what the CRD, our Capital Regional District, samples, we are doing it far more often. So the Capital Regional District samples about 1 to 3 times a year at every outflow, whereas we're sampling every 2 weeks. If there's a problem, we do let the CRD know. We're in contact with them. And one of the pushes this year that we really want to do is get some washing stations, at least foot washes or actual showers installed at some of the locations that don't have one. Gonzales is a perfect example that a lot of people go there to do cold water dips, but there's outflows on either side of Gonzales Bay that we believe are the cause for some of the higher counts of enterococcus that we're finding after big rainfalls on that beach. So if you're curious about it, you can go to the website and you can click on our Surfrider Vancouver Island website and click on Blue Water Task Force. You can also just Google Blue Water Task Force. And you can actually go and look and see what our water quality testing has been. 2 weeks ago we tested and everything was all great. So, but it also hadn't rained. So additionally, if you're interested in volunteering for that, it's a really fun way to get involved. And it's citizen science, so you don't have to have a big science background or anything like that to do it. Our Ocean Friendly Businesses program is a joint certification program with the Vancouver Island Green Business Collective that recognizes Vancouver Island businesses as ocean friendly through completing actions that focus on single-use plastic reductions. So currently there's 5 different types of businesses that we have. So there's restaurants, offices, retailers, spas, and salons, as well as fleet and trade-based businesses. So those basically, the idea is that there's a list, and again, you can go to our website and you can see that list, so you can actually support businesses that are doing things like reducing single-use plastic, choosing alternatives, and especially restaurants. So, the restaurants are using paper straws instead of plastic straws. So that list is available there. So there's a lot of different ways, as you can see, there's been a lot of different ways you can make waves with us. So during COVID-19, do a solo beach cleanup, use the Marine Debris Tracker app. You can become part of a committee. So that's either one of the, Rise Above Plastics, Beach Cleanup, Blue Water Task Force, become an executive committee member. We represent our chapter at local events. So when we do start having beach cleanups, festivals, we often have booths at festivals, farmers markets, or other educational events. We'll be having a booth out on the peninsula for July, as well as you could become a program or a campaign lead. The other thing too is if you have some extra expertise, scientific, nonprofit, legal, operational, any kind of expertise at all, and you want to help out, we're always looking for people, and you can even just do it as an advisor. So someone that we can go to ask questions to. We are all volunteers, so many hands make light work. So other ways to give if you don't have the time is if you own a business, you could become a Surfrider Vancouver Island partner. As an individual, you can also become a Surfrider Vancouver member. There's a membership button on our website, or you can also make an individual or business donation. So hopefully this presentation gave you an overview of what Surfrider Vancouver Island does. And if you have any other questions about it, please feel free to email me at vicechair@Vancouver Island. Sorry, I just want to make sure I get the email. Yeah, vicechair@vancouverisland.surfrider.org. And I'd be happy to answer any questions. And hopefully we will see you soon once COVID restrictions are lifted at a beach cleanup or event in the near future.